What's good, y'all? What's good, Real Talk Squad? This is Miles, and you're listening to Real Talk with Miles Johnson, where you know we always keep it real. Let's get right into it, man. We have a special episode. Like I say, we always bring heavy hitters. We got MoNe Davis on here for Real Talk with MJ. And man, let's give a little intro. Y'all probably already know who she is, but we gotta give her flowers, man. She's one of two girls who played in the 2014 or played in the 2014 Little League World Series, and the first girl to win and have a shutout in the Little League World Series history. She's the first Little League player to appear on the cover of Sports Illustrated, as well as she's really like a trailblazer, for women's sports, and from autographs and from Mike Trout and KD, all these people, tweeting her back at that time. But some could argue that she's done more impactful stuff in the community, even past that. And so she graduated from Springside Chestnut Hill for high school, went on to a HBCU. Y'all know I go to Morehouse, so I love, HBCUs and all that. She went to Hampton University in Virginia, and she graduated in 2023, same year as myself. And now she's in New York, like me too, at Columbia, pursuing a master's in sports management. So, MoNe, welcome to Real
Appreciate
Talk.
that.
It's an honor to have you on, and I definitely want to shout out your Twitch page, money underscore bag mo. Wait, hold up, money two Y's bag
Yeah.
underscore mo. So, thank you very much for hopping on.
No, thanks for having me. I feel like this has been a long time coming. I know we talked about this at the beginning or the end of the summer. But I appreciate it. Thank to you because you came on the Twitch, so had to
Yeah,
repay the favor. But yeah, appreciate it.
for sure. No, it was great to be on, and I knew Alex like since from Jack and Jill since like we was like 8. So, it was and Shane too. So it was like he's got the whole gang back just talking sports, talking, all of that. So, speaking of sports, a article from the Philadelphia Inquirer, came out, and it talked about, your interest and your goal to really start a WNBA team in Philly, as well as a national women's soccer league in Philly as well. So I always knew that, they even talked about it, back, in 2014, around that time, that, your main thing was basketball. And I went to Friends Central. So, I saw, Springside, Chestnut Hill play us a couple of times. So I knew basketball was your thing too. Um, so first, where did soccer come from? And just where did your overall, interest, in bringing pro women's sports to Philly, like where did that come from?
Yeah, so I started playing soccer when I was about 9. So I met him when I was 7. We played on the same baseball team, and that baseball team, basically the same team, transitioned to basketball, transitioned to soccer. So I kind of played with the same group of kids, since I was growing up. And I just always enjoyed soccer. It was a place where you could be aggressive, you could let out your anger, you're just running up and down a field. Kids, like at that time, you just love just running, just playing. So that's kind of where my love came from. And then I feel like once the 2015 World Cup came, I started seeing it a lot more on television. I started really getting into it, started really seeing, the beauty of the game because I felt like I didn't really understand soccer as much when I was playing, but once I started to watch it, I really started to develop that love for it. But
Mhm.
like I said, I have an older brother. I kind of follow what he did. He didn't play soccer, but he played basketball, and I wanted to do exactly what he was doing. So I just would always follow him around. And then once I started getting older, started to figure out, all right, what do I want to do with life? Like I kind of knew from about 10th grade, I was like, all right, I don't want to be a professional athlete. Like I want to still be around sports, but I'm not sure what I want to do.
Mhm.
So that's when the idea of being a journalist came out. So I'm like, yeah, I could do that. Like I can ask people questions. I can, just talk about sports. That'd be cool. And then I was like, all right, like that's cool. I got to do that, but like there's something else that I want to do. Like what's missing? What is it that I want to do? So it just took some time, especially around COVID, just like sitting there thinking about like, all right, I was able to, do some broadcasting. Okay. So like what else do I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I just always wanted to have a women's team in the area. I've never been able to, go to these games when I was younger. And I wanted to be able to, bring that to other little girls that are playing as well. So, just having that idea like, all right, WNBA is expanding, NWSL is expanding, women's sports in general is expanding globally. So, what's something that I can do to not only just impact, my small community, but the community as a whole, for the city of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, Philly fans are just they're
Die
crazy about
hard.
all their teams.
Yep.
Yeah. So like I was like, all right, I feel like this would be a great market for this. Although you can have those fans that, aren't into women's sports just yet, but seeing those guys, seeing those women here playing, you're like, all right, like I can get into this. So I just felt like it was a perfect fit, with especially with how the teams are doing, they've been doing well lately. So
Mm-hmm.
trying to keep that going. And I've been getting a lot of emails and text messages from people saying like they love the idea and they're all on board, which is amazing to hear. But there's still a lot more work to put into it. It's a lot of money, so trying to
Mm-hmm.
get those, get in contact with the right people so it could happen. But it's always been a dream just to give back to my community, and I feel like that's my way of giving back.
That's what's up. And you brought up a good point about like sports. This isn't a town where like sports isn't big. So, if you have, new teams in basketball, in soccer, like I've been to union games and they go crazy. Like they go
Mm-hmm.
crazy. So, uh basketball as well. And you and I both know football and even like hockey. I'm not a huge hockey guy, but I know it's a huge, huge fan base there. People baseball too. I started getting
Mm-hmm.
into that more with like the Philly success. So in terms of the realm of women's sports, who would you say is your favorite athlete to watch? We got the, Caitlin Clarks of the world. We got, Simone Biles or Cindy McLaughlin. We got
Yeah.
so many who would you say what would you say is, your favorite athlete, female athlete right now?
It's kind of tricky because I feel like all of my, favorite athletes growing up, they aren't playing right now. Like Serena Williams, she's retired. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's I feel like she's just a goat in everything. Like everything that she's accomplished on and off the field, like she's my goat, really. And then Maya Moore and Skylar Diggins Smith have always been my two favorite basketball players. I've always wanted to go to UConn because of Maya Moore. So whenever, I see women's basketball would be on, it'd be college basketball and it'd be UConn. So that was my goal, was to go to UConn. And Maya Moore is she just dominates, like just
Yeah.
straight dominates. And now she's not playing anymore. So I'm like, all right, like I need to find somebody else. And then my other, I'd probably say soccer wise would be Kristen Press. She played for the national team. She went to Stanford. She played in NWSL. She's still in the NWSL, but she's been hurt. So, a lot of those, the the first two, they're done playing, and
Mm-hmm.
Kristen Press she's getting up there in age, so she doesn't have that much left, years wise. So it's been kind of tricky, finding new favorite players. But like you said, Caitlin Clark just straight dominates. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if we've seen something like this before. Like she just going out there scoring 40 on any given night, averaging
Mm-hmm.
31 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Like it's just insane, like what she's doing. So definitely Caitlin Clark, like you said, Simone Biles, that's also a huge one, especially when the Olympics come around. Like you just know she's going to straight dominate and won't care what anybody says. Cindy
Mm-hmm.
McLaughlin being so young and just dominating. I remember, I think it was 2016. Yeah, 2016. I think she was fresh out of high school and she was running. She didn't, obviously, she's young. She didn't do as well as she thought, but then seeing her bounce back the next Olympics and seeing her
Yeah.
go crazy, like that's insane. Like what these women are doing is something like we don't really see.
Yeah.
And it's always exciting. So Probably just all those that I just named are probably, my new up and coming athletes. They're still young, they're still fresh out, but I'm always trying to watch and find new favorite athletes. I love the underdogs. I love the underdog story. So trying to do some digging and figure out, all right, like this person, how many people are talking about her. So let me go,
Hmm.
talk about her and give her some hype whenever I can.
Yeah. You speak of that underdog story. Another person that comes to mind specifically with that is, Sha'Carri Richardson because she
Mm,
was, knocked down and had a low moment, and then now, everyone wants to root for an underdog. So like they seeing her, rise and beat the best of the best.
mm-hmm.
Those Jamaican spinners. So it's like, that's another underdog story too. Um, what made you first get into baseball though? Because you always, interested in in basketball. Uh, and so did you off the bat just start playing, a variety of sports, or like, kind of just what went behind just, playing basketball and soccer, and and baseball too. I believe you were, you know, playing soccer as like, a midfielder, and then you went to, you were a point guard in basketball, and a shortstop, and you played pitcher. So like really, is that just all just, you know, something that just happened from the start, or how did that come about?
Yeah. So when I first started playing like organized sports, I was 7 and I was playing football. I was in the outfield, my cousin and his friends, because he played on the team, but he played on the older team. And my age group, so our age group, the team wasn't established just yet. It was just a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of, we weren't old enough just yet. So it was just, a bunch of kids just, Coach C put them together and, they were practicing, getting ready for the spring, and he saw me playing football and he always says how I was throwing 30-yard spirals and like just out there just tackling the boys. And we knew about the team. He gave me his number. My mom, she didn't want to do it because she's like, I'm not letting my only daughter play with the guys. Like that's not
Yeah.
happening at all. So she wasn't for it. And then I think there was an all girls team because I know they had the Anderson Monarchs, like girls soccer team. I think they were practicing one day, and I was supposed to go, and I ended up crying to my uncle, and I was like, I can't. Like, I did not want to go. I started panicking and just freaking out, and I was like, I can't go. And then I saw Coach Steve again, and he told me about basketball practice, and my mom finally like, all right, like you can go. And I went to basketball practice, and I was just supposed to watch the whole practice because they've been practicing for a while now. Like I'm brand new. Like this is the first time I'm seeing a lot of these guys. So like he was just like, just sit on the side, like you can watch. And they're doing a 3-man weave at the age of 7, like have it down packed, which is insane. And
Yeah.
then he just was like, he asked me if I wanted to join, and I was like, yeah, like I'll do it, and like picked it up right away. And then right after that practice, he told me about baseball practice, so I started going to baseball practice and I was terrible. Like I couldn't hit the ball off the tee. The ball is stationary. Like the ball's not moving, and I just could not hit it. But I
Yeah.
had some type of hand-eye coordination. So, he saw that and he was like, all right, like it just takes more practice. Like this isn't an easy sport. So I just kept practicing and they put me in the outfield because at that age, nobody's hitting the ball to the outfield. So he put me in right field. I was batting like 15th on the team. Just like I'm just there, really. I'm just there for the vibes.
Yeah, just for the vibes.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, I hate being the weak link. Like I hate feeling like I'm the weak link. So I would always just go to practice all the time, go early, go on days where we didn't have practice because my aunt lived down the street. So I would just go and just get as much practice as I can, picking my coach's brain. I really started getting into watching baseball more, started learning the game more, started to, better my IQ. And then there was one game where he was like, hey, you want to pitch? And I was like, why not? Like, I'm not touching the ball in the outfield, so I want to get into some type of action. And
Mhm.
that first game, the kid hit a bomb off me, the very first batter, and that upset me. And I realized from then, like, all right, I'm never gonna let this happen again. And I just kept working, kept getting better. And then that's when he started putting me at third base, shortstop, catcher, pitcher, anywhere he needed. Like I was the go-to person. Like, all right, we need somebody here. All right, Mo, you can go play that position. So I just started out early. I think I was like probably 8 or 9 when I first started pitching, and then once I learned that, that's when everything just kind of flipped and I started to really get better, started to really progress at a lot faster rate than, some of my teammates did. And then he just started putting me in different positions and just learning everything because one, I also was the tallest person as well. So I didn't start out as a point guard, but I had the mental capabilities to, go from center to point guard, to be calm when needed, to not panic. And then that also comes with pitching as well, staying calm, staying mentally in the game and mentally ready at all times. That kind of every position that I play kind of all flows into each other. Being in midfield in soccer, like you're dictating the pace of the game. The ball comes through
Hmm.
you, so you got to know what to do. Calm the team down, be that leader. So all my positions that I played in every single sport, I was able to lean back on the other sports and rely on the other sports and everything that I learned from other sports to better myself and better my teammates in that game. So it was a lot, but at the same time, they all flow together and I played with the same group of guys, so I knew how they played, they knew how I played, and I was just able to just keep going and like actually enjoy the game and enjoy being a kid playing this game and learning the game and really helping my team in any way that I could.
And you talked about the pressure that, you know, a pitcher has to go ahead and, get the strikeouts, make plays, as well as, a point guard, midfielder as well. But specifically with baseball, and you were on, the biggest of stages, is there any way that, like, playing on that big stage and the pressure that came with it, prepared you to, tackle on, other opportunities and be like, well, shoot, if I did that, it might not be as bad as, having to get an A on this final exam, or, or get through Columbia, whatever it is. Did those like earlier experiences, in the Little League World Series help prepare you, further on?
For sure. I think the big thing is, you know, things are going to happen whether they're in your favor or not. Like obviously we'd want to win the whole thing, but we weren't able to do that. And it's like, all right, life goes on. So you got to know how to, have that setback, but then also move forward with this. So
Mm.
I think I want to say states tournament. So a lot of people don't know to make it to the Little League World Series, there's little tournaments that you have to do. So you have to do districts, sectionals, states, regionals, and then it's Little League. So you have to go through at least four other tournaments before you get there. And I want to say states is when we didn't have our leadoff hitter, which is Sky. He played catcher for us. He's probably one of the smartest baseball players I've ever played with and know. And then we had Jolly, who's also in that category too,
Oh
like
yeah.
just a great leader overall. So we were without those two. So it's like, all right, like I needed to step up and do extra. Um, and I was able to, really grow from just that tournament. I had to lead off, I had to catch, I had to pitch, I had to play somewhere else in the field. So I was doing a lot, but that allowed me to, adapt and learn how to adapt and learn how to, all right, here's a challenge that I need to conquer. How am I going to get past it and not just, automatically crumble? So Little League has definitely taught me a lot, especially pressure wise. Like I always say the pressure, people always, oh, do you feel pressure? Were you pressured to do this? The only pressure I feel is the pressure I put on myself. And a lot of the time I'm going out there just to, help my teammates out. And I'm like, all right, I need to rely on what I can do. I know what I can do. So go out there and trust my teammates. So
Hmm.
Little League has definitely taught me a lot, not just sports wise, but also just life wise, like being that
Yeah.
leader, taking responsibility, being accountable. Those are just everything you need to have in the real world. So definitely learned that at a young age, and that's definitely helped me. And especially staying calm in situations like during Little League, you see everybody at the stadium watching, but you don't remember how many people are watching on TV. And it's like, all right, if I could stay calm in that situation at 12, I think I can accomplish anything I want in life.
Yeah.
So that's something, looking back on that, I never realized that I did, but I was able to look back and, carry that on with me.
Yeah. And I feel like sports, the reason why I love to one cover sports as a sports journalist is because everything kind of connects with, whether it's like, pop culture, whether it's, just life in general. I feel like even when I played soccer, played it since I was 5, did like travel for Chestnut Hill, then for Lower Marion, And then for high school, I played at Friends Central varsity all 4 years. And so I always had that drive, to succeed. Like, even though maybe we slipped the championship game or like stuff didn't go our way, it was always like, all right, let me look forward to next season for the off season to, get my workouts in and, get that practice in. And then like when I got to college and I didn't have soccer anymore, it was like, all right, so where do I put that same drive to? So then
Mm-hmm.
that just turned to, well, I love sports. I love to talk and write sports journalism. And I know you referenced like COVID, was where you really found, you know, that love for, also that sports management side too. And a little bit more than strictly just journalism. And that was kind of the same for me too, where that's where Real Talk with MJ started in July 2020. And then it just that same drive to be like, all right, well, I want to wake up at 6 a.m. to do this workout is the same thing of like, well, let me go ahead and wake up early so I can record this
Mm-hmm.
podcast before classes start and I have to edit that. So it kind of that like same drive. So I feel like sports it helps prepare you for the real world, even if you don't go professional or don't go D1, whatever it is, like those same traits, they gonna apply to like, other stuff. Now, when you got to college at Hampton, first, what went behind your decision to go to HBCU, go to Hampton, uh, and how was your experience there?
So it's kind of crazy. So like I said, I always wanted to do basketball,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't getting the looks that I wanted in basketball from colleges. Not sure what it was. Yeah, I could have probably played better during AAU. I've had good moments, I've had bad moments. But I've started to realize like I'm not having fun with basketball. And everybody tells you when you play a sport in college, it's a job. It's a full-time job. Like you spend your mornings there, your afternoons there, your nighttime, what you're doing is schoolwork. You still have to go to class, you got to find time to eat. It's a lot. And I was like, I don't want to play a sport in college where I'm not having fun, where I'm not like I have to be able to look forward to it. And I want to really grow, not just on the field or on the court, but off the field and off the court as well. And so I sprained my ankle junior year going into senior year. And that was the last basketball tournament that I was ever going to play in for AAU. So I'm like, all right, I was just sitting there debating with myself and I was like, I want to buy a new glove. So random. I was like, I want to buy a
Mm-hmm.
new glove. But then I'm like, why am I buying a new glove if I'm not going to be playing this sport for the next 4 years? Like it makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really started to just sit there just thinking to myself, like, I think I want to play softball. Like that also goes into the fact that my high school team, we weren't winning for basketball. Like it just wasn't fun. And then for softball in high school, like I had a great team around me, a team that almost every girl has played softball since they were younger. So I started to learn from them and started to pick things up from them. And so I was like, all right, I want to do softball. I reached out to coaches. A lot of them already had their 2019 class recruited already, signed, whatever. And then it was between Bethune Cookman and Hampton. I took a visit to, I went to Hampton's camp early July, or no, I'm sorry, early October. And it was cool. It was super hot. I just remember, a lot of the players being there. They had media day, so players coming in and out. And I started to like really see how a lot of them really took a lot of the time to talk to me. But there was other recruits there, so I'm like, all right, they're showing more love than I would expect. And I looked up, their what majors that they had, and I was like, all right, I want to do journalism, so let's look up what their journalism programs like.
Mm-hmm.
And the dean at the time, Dean Plummer, she was like my mom there, and I think she had 7 Emmys at the time. And I was like, all right, this is somebody I want to learn from. I wasn't able to take a visit of the campus during that day, but I was able to come back during homecoming. And I let the coach know, I'm like, hey, like before I make any decisions, like I want to take another visit when, I'm able to see the students outside to see if, I could really see myself here. So I came back during homecoming and as you know, HBCU homecomings.
That
That
joint
kind of
jumping.
Yeah, that kind of solidified it. Like I come early in the morning and they're out there tailgating already. And
Mm-hmm.
as soon as I walk on campus, they're like, you need anything? Da, da, da. Like just I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Like I'm like, y'all don't even know me. Y'all are treating me like family already. Like this is something, this is special. Like this isn't something
Mm-hmm.
I've ever seen before. I talked with the basketball coach. I really got a tour of campus. My mom and my stepdad did let me hang out with the girls for some hours just to walk around because it was like it's homecoming. Like
Mm-hmm.
go see what it's like. Like go hang out with these, your new maybe teammates, maybe new friends. Like go hang out with them and then we'll catch up later. And I just remember just loving it, just falling in love with it. And I'm like, all right, and y'all have a journalism program. So right after, so that was Saturday. Sundays when I met with the dean of journalism, and we sat and talked for hours. And she was saying how, all the faculty there, they take care of the students. They, smaller classes, so they really make sure they get to
Mm-hmm.
know who the students are, know what they want to do. She talked about the alumni there. A lot of them have jobs at ESPN, Disney. That was it. That's all I needed to hear. Like, all right, you guys get jobs afterwards. That's what I want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So once that happened, I took some time for myself and I took a visit to Bethune-Cookman. I love the coaches at Bethune-Cookman, but it was a place where I just couldn't see myself. I was like, I just can't see myself on this campus. Like it didn't fit me. I love Bethune-Cookman though. Shout out to all the HBCUs out there, but it just
Yeah.
wasn't the right fit for me. The journalism program wasn't what I was like looking for. But everything else was the players were great, the coaches were great, but I was like, I just can't see myself here.
Mm-hmm.
So I took some time, talked to my family, and all out of nowhere, it was just one day I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Hampton. Like I think that's the right move. My friend Sydney Crawford, that who I've known since sixth grade, she was already at Hampton, so I talked to her, and she talked about how she loved it, and I was like, all right, yeah, that's the one. And it also wasn't too far from home. It's a 5 hour drive, so if I ever need anything, I could call my mom. We have family friends down there. If I ever need anything from them, like easy phone call, they'll come pick me up, or I could, get dropped off at their place if I need it. So it was definitely, I feel like it was an easy choice, but it was also a hard choice.
Mm.
Because you build those relationships with different coaches, and it's like, dang, like how do I tell this coach like I'm not coming to that school? But
Mm.
then it's like at the end of the day, it's my choice. I got to pick what's right for me. And Hampton felt like the perfect choice for me. And I say this all the time. Like if I were to do it all over again, I would choose Hampton 100%. Like just
Yeah.
it was just a time that although it was cut kind of short because of COVID, I still had the best time there. And then also not playing my senior year, like I was really able to fully immerse myself in the student life and get to know more people, get to interact with, other people that aren't athletes. So I truly did enjoy my time, and I especially joined my senior year because, as you know, senior second semester senior year is it's insane. Like it's
It's
so
big.
much fun. And I wasn't able to do that during if I played softball, but my
Mm-hmm.
roommate and I, that was my roommate since freshman year. We stuck with each other throughout the entire time. We made sure we really enjoyed, our experience.
Yeah. That's what's up. Similarly to how you said it was down to two HBCUs, same for me. It was Morehouse and Howard, and I wanted to play soccer at in college, but I wanted to play soccer, but I didn't want to I didn't want to play it so bad that I would be at some D3 school in the middle of nowhere
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't be enjoying the experience. So I was like, if I can go to HBCU and play soccer, oh yeah, that's like a win-win. So Howard was like my number one. Uh and then what happened was they had this like camp that they had where they're looking out for, talent. And I wanted to go, but the problem was it was the same day as the SAT. Now I took the
Mm,
SAT two times prior uh to that, but my score just it wasn't, what, it wasn't good. So I am in my head, I was like, well, I'm not really good at standardized tests. What's the point of me taking the third time? My parents was like, boy, you're gonna take this third SAT and we're gonna roll the dice and and see how you do. So I ended up going ahead and having to take that SAT. And after that, I was like, all right, probably, soccer probably has to end. But then when I went to visit Morehouse for at mid student weekend, was there, and a lot of guys from back home in Philly, went to Morehouse. So like, they're telling me, bro, you gotta be here, you gotta be here. And then, really just when I got that call, it was any place that I would rather be. And your
Yeah,
homecoming, you talked about it, like it's different. You got the tailgate, then you got, you know, for me, I'm Greek, so you got the step shows, you got the fashion show, you have the
everything.
concert, everything. You have
Everything. It's
everything.
just a week full of activities. Like you can't, and like that's why like that was the difference with coming here. Like, although yeah, my high school is predominantly white, but like I spent 4 years at an HBCU where I'm looking at people that look like the both of us every single day,
Hmm.
and then it's homecoming week. You're expecting like, oh yeah, it's gonna be lit. We're gonna have something to do every week. But then you come here and it's like, all right, is it really homecoming week or is it just another weekend where they
Yeah.
just call it homecoming? Like
Right.
it wasn't the same. Like I was like, this doesn't hit the same. So I ended up going to Dell State's homecoming this year too, and I was like, all right, see, I could do that. Like just going to
Yeah.
different homecomings, seeing the different vibes, and I definitely enjoyed it. But just like you said, like Howard was on my list too. Like I
Yeah.
wanted to go to Howard as well, but at the time they didn't have a softball coach, and by the time
Okay.
they got a softball coach, I was already committed to Hampton. And the
Hmm.
coach called me and she was like, hey, like, I saw the email you sent. They've been in the process of a new coach. I'm the new coach. And it was a lot, but I was like, dang, like, that would have been nice to go to Howard. I know so many people that went to Howard. Some of my best friends went to Howard. And it's like, dang,
Hmm.
like, could
It's
have been,
different.
but things happen for a reason. So I wasn't
Yeah,
able to
for a
go.
reason.
But I love Howard. Like all my people that go there, I do want to go to
Hmm.
Howard and experience their homecoming as well. It's the Mecca, like they
Same.
call it. So
Same. I want to too, because Morehouse has played them a couple, like in football, and so we ended up like going there like this past fall. I went there with some of my line brothers and stuff. So it was a great time. But I'm trying to go to a homecoming like in my early 20s, because I know like once I get like late mid 20s, late 20s, like it's gonna be real life. Like I feel like now
hmm
since we're in school, it's like I can
you get
like
a
me
little
like
break.
you get a little break. Even like now, like it's winter break, we can like chill. I feel like this is the most chill I'm gonna be before like
hmm
school starts. And you got internships or whatever it is in the summertime. And then at
Yep.
least for my program, I graduate in December 2024. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
like your program gets rigorous. I would like to talk about that jump from an HBCU to a PWI. You went from Hampton to Columbia. Um, Similarly, I went from Morehouse to NYU. So we're both in New York. And I feel like although HBCUs are on the rise, and especially after the affirmative action and all that, I think we'll see more people, that look like us going to HBCUs. But I still feel like there's that stigma that do HBCUs really prepare you for the real world, or prepare you
hmm
for, to put you in good positions, after it. Like, and I feel like if you go to HBCU, you get the best of both worlds. You get a good education, but then you also have that experience with people that look like you. um and it helped me take that, have that transition from to be at a PWI now at a high level. So you're at the Ivy League level, and doing sports management. So like, how has your HBCU just prepared you for that grad school life?
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, like, just putting it out there, Hampton has taught me not just, what to do in the classroom, but just to know my worth in general. Like knowing that I belong in places, knowing that I was here for a reason, so I deserve to be here. Those are two things that Hampton has really taught me. And I thought, I'm like, all right, my high school was predominantly white. Like I'm not gonna have a problem with going to Columbia. Like it's nothing new. But once you step in that classroom and you realize like there's not many people that look like me, there's probably one other black woman, black male in my class, is like, all right, like this is a little different. Like you kind of start to, fall back into your shell a little bit. You're not as, open to presenting, to raising your hand, to speaking in
Mm-hmm.
class, to just participating. Like it's an internal thing. You start to feel, they call it imposter syndrome. Like you start to feel a little bit of that. But then, thinking back to Hampton, it's like, all right, they taught me I deserve to be here. Like I'm here for a reason. Like out of all the applicants, they chose me to be here. So I'm not gonna let, just not being the only black woman, being one of the only black women in my class, I'm not gonna let that stop me from, furthering my education. But it was an easy transition. Like coming here, Hampton during the dorms, I had the same roommate, and you know, their dorms, I could literally reach my arm out and touch my roommate. Like that's how close
Yeah.
Hampton dorms were. But here it's like, all right, I have my own room, I have my own kitchen, just own apartment. Like I'm truly living by myself, and I'm in this huge city. Like that's a lot to
Yeah.
just kind of process. And so I had that on top of, just the workload that Columbia just provides. Like I had 4 classes and I had stuff due every week. I had 4 case briefs for law and ethics. I had a group project and also a quiz for marketing. I had a whole finance assignment to do. I had readings to do for my foundations class. Like there's a lot, and it's like, all right, like I gotta be able to do all of this, also making the transition to living by myself in New York, to also just adapting to the new lifestyle that I'm in. Like I feel
Mm-hmm.
like Hampton, I was able to just like get my work done right then and there and then move on, and all the classes kind of went together. But here it's like, all right, I got
Yeah.
all this work. Like I got to really
You
buckle
gotta
down.
do it though. You really gotta do it. Like,
Like I look coming into it, I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to do this. Like I'll have a couple missed assignments, but then once you find your groove, you're like, all right, like this actually isn't that bad. Like it's
yeah.
actually it's kind of, you put yourself in a cycle. And I would always take Thursday off. Like I'm like, all right, I don't have classes on Thursday. Let's
Yep.
take a breather Thursday and this at least start something Friday, do Saturday, Sunday. And like if I need to, I could work on some stuff, early Monday in the day because I have late classes. So it was definitely a challenge that like I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it, but I had
Mm-hmm.
to think back like, all right, like I was prepared for this. Like I'm here for a reason. I'm in this position for a reason. Like I can do it. And don't get me wrong, like the work is hard. It's hard. It's not easy work, but
Yeah.
it's I signed up for this. So I'm like, all right, if I signed up, I know what I can do. And I took the harder classes first semester too, which probably wasn't the smartest idea. But
But
now I'm looking back, I'm like, it's over
it's out
now.
the way now. Real
I'm like,
right.
it's over now. I didn't look at my grades once that last final was done. I didn't open Canvas. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
look at my grades or anything. I'm like, all right, it's time for the next semester. Got to get ready for because I'm done in August and I'll be able to walk in May. So I'm like, all right, I got to be prepared
Of
for
August
the next
2020
steps
this year.
of this year. Yeah, it's only a year program, so I'm like, I gotta look forward. Can't be dwelling on the past, but I'm actually glad I took those hard classes and got those out the way because I hated finance. I was not good at finance. So now I know
Mm-hmm.
I will not take finance and just move on with life and go from there. But it was definitely a hard transition, but I think Hampton definitely prepared me for how to, get myself through it.
Yeah, and similarly with myself, you gotta find your groove.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it is at Columbia, but how it is at NYU, I'll have class. I would have class on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So Monday and Wednesday would be like free days. I don't have class. Uh, so I would normally like just knock out all my work on either Monday and or Tuesday, and either take off like one of those days, or the weekend. I just take off like really like Sunday is my day where I watch football and I'm just chilling. Like, don't talk to me that day, especially if the Eagles playing. But now they piss me off so much. It's like now y'all making me. I gotta turn the TV off because y'all,
Yeah.
yeah, y'all go crazy. So, but definitely gotta find your groove. And you said something earlier about you know, not being a weak link on your team, whether it was in soccer or, basketball. Uh, or when you first started off, in baseball and you weren't as good, and you were like, all right, I don't want to be the weak link anymore. Um, that's how I felt at grad school. It's like you're surrounded by everybody who's on their game. So it's
Mm-hmm.
naturally gonna bring your level higher because you're like, if I have, you know, these classmates are doing great things, I can be the person who, the teacher calls on them in class and they didn't read the case briefing or they ain't read the article. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you're naturally gonna raise your level, but not only raise your level, but also, want to have that edge over them still, and that kind of goes back to that sports thing, too. So that's what's up. How you like New York life, and after that, we'll get into some sports topics. I definitely want to talk some basketball and these Eagles too. But how was life in New York? I know you just moved to a new city. Back in August 2023. How you like New York?
It's actually fun. I feel like there's always something open to eat. I feel like I eat at the most random times, so like
Yeah.
I can always find something to eat. But it's definitely it's a lot of fun, especially with I kind of had the apartment to myself, so like I've really just been doing whatever. Like I started streaming, like I was just
Yeah.
doing whatever I want. But as far as like going into the city, like I've started to use the train a lot more that like I'm actually comfortable with using the train. Like I took the train from here all the way to Brooklyn, like by myself. And I never thought I would do that, but I found my core group, which is the HBCU fellows. I found, once I started to get comfortable around them, having them to, relate to and rely on to help me get through it. I'm able to help them get through it as well. Once I found them and we started to really get close, that and just made this experience like 10 times better. I feel like they go out all the time. Like we
Yeah.
went out so much. And although I'm not a huge person of going out, but like I went out a good amount of time with them. And it's not like we go out at like 8:30, come back at like 12. No, like we go out at like 11 and wouldn't be back till like
Yeah.
4 or 5 in the morning. It's like, all right, like what is happening? But I definitely love it. And I know I'm gonna love it in the summer as well, because I didn't really get the experience in summer, but
Hmm.
it's been good. I've enjoyed it. I've always loved the city of New York, and it's been something that I've always dreamed of, is just living out here. And now having the ability to live out here and not be able to pay for rent, like it's amazing. Like I
And
can't think.
you're a HBCU fellow.
Fellow.
So,
Yep.
so how many do they have?
I want to say there's about probably like 18 of us, maybe.
Okay.
Or it might be a little less. It's somewhere around that, because we had, so the grade that would be above us. Some of them were here in the fall as well. So there was a good amount of us, and like we were able to rely on them, ask them questions. And I had a friend from Hampton that I've known since junior year that was here as well. So having that kind of familiar face, and also someone that worked on our Saber Sports show with us, she's here as well. So like it was nice to have people that I've known already also here. But I've enjoyed it, and I
Yeah.
know for sure I'm definitely going to enjoy this semester, the spring, and the summer as well.
Last thing, could you tell the people just what made you start your Twitch page and just shout out just the work that you and Alex do.
Yeah. So I've always wanted to start, Twitch or YouTube, just because I feel like I've done so many interesting things in my life that I feel like it's kind of motivation to other people. Like I'm a young woman from South Philly that played on an all boys team. Like you don't really hear that, and I was able to do things that I never thought I could imagine, go to places I never thought I could imagine. So I've always wanted to kind of start YouTube or streaming, just because I feel like I have so much to offer. And just by being on, doing interviews, like that's not really going to show my personality. So this is a way for me to, get out of my comfort zone, show my personality, do different things that I've always wanted to try. And, I talked to Alex and I was like, look, I want to stream. I
Hmm.
was like, I'm not sure what I want to stream, but like I want to stream. And I just remember every time I'm with Alex, we'd be talking about sports. And if you know Alex, he's a character.
Yeah.
And I was telling him like, listen, like I'm like we're gonna stream this day. And I was like, I want you to just be yourself and bring the energy. And he dresses up in suits and ties, like cowboy hats or whatever he can find. Like he'll do something crazy, but I just wanted to, I love putting, my people on. And I'm like, I want somebody that I know who's going to work hard. Alex has a YouTube channel already. He has 600 plus subscribers. Like I know he's going to, be locked in when the time's needed. And he has that personality. Like a lot of people when they're watching, they're like, oh, he reminds me of Stephen A. But I'm like, no, like this is Alex. Like Alex has been this way since we were younger. So I just wanted to try something new. That was a goal of mine, was to either start YouTube or streaming, before the year was up. And I started streaming and we've been having some success. We had two guests on. We had CJ Gardner Johnson on today. We had Alicia Ocasio, who's a professional softball player. So we've been having some success and we've been growing, faster than any other, starting streamer has done. So, it's just always just going above and beyond and, doing some more. And like I said, I love, sports journalism. So this is a
Yeah.
way to do it, but do it on a different platform. And, we're going to start seeing a lot more, of these sports talk shows shift to streaming services. So, it was just a way just to start it out. I know on Twitch, you don't really see too many, people talking about sports on there, and it's the perfect place
Hmm.
to do it. Especially with Amazon, having the Thursday night football game. So, just kind of going from there and just trying new things out. And I always just have like I've always just wanted to try it out, and I'm just like, why not try it? And what could possibly be, like I can't do no wrong on here. So we've been
Yeah.
having a lot of success and it's been very fun. And we try to set goals. So once we hit like a certain amount of followers, all right, we're gonna have this guest on. Or if we had a certain amount of subs, are we gonna have this guest on? And just keep building from there and getting better. And how can we improve from each day? Like we only stream twice a week right now. So we're trying to add an extra day and add, maybe some Fortnite in, or, just something else to
Hmm.
show more personality and show what else we can do. So it's just really just going off a feel and just putting ourselves out there and just having fun and just talking sports with, one of my best friends that I've known for more than half my life.
Yeah. That's what's up. Like you said, just going back in your journalism bag of your degree in undergrad too. So that's pretty cool. I definitely appreciate you for hopping on. And I wanted to just um ask this last question that's about like motivation. People that's listening, and you're somebody that I feel like is very humble, like in everything you do. You've done a lot of big stuff, and but you've always stayed humble and stayed grounded. So, what has really helped you stayed humble, stayed, level headed, even when everybody's saying congratulations, you're so great, you know, but staying humble and realizing, oh, I still have more goals, I was the first to do this and this at a young age, but I want to, do more for myself, and I want to do more for my community, more for my city, more in sports specifically. So, have you stayed humble, stayed, level headed, you know, even when people have, showered you with love?
Yeah, probably just my family, the support system I've had, my teammates, coaches, all those people that have helped me get to, the point that I'm at. So always kind of look at it as I have to pay them back, but also I need to pay my younger self back somehow. Like what I set these goals. All right, how can I achieve these goals? Because that'll make, the inner child in me, aesthetic that, oh, I was able to do this and I was able to look back and on my journey and just like, wow, like I said this, I spoke it into existence. Now, like I actually was able to do it. So I've always
Hmm.
been a person that, just never satisfied. I appreciate all the support and all the love that people give me. I try to, repost and text back to people at all times. But I know there's so much more that I want to accomplish and so much more that I want to give back, to my city. And not just to my city, but to my family, to my siblings. Like I want to make sure that once we're older, like we're on a different path and we know that there's different things in life that we can achieve by just working hard and putting your mind to it. So I've always been a person that I'm looking forward to all right, I've accomplished this. All right, what's the next big step that I can take? So people will tell you like wanting to own a team and bring a team to a city like that's hard to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's a like we said before, it's a lot of money that goes into that. And I know it's hard. I don't just have $70 million laying around to bring an NWSL
Yeah.
team here. Like I don't have that, but I have the resources that I'm learning at Columbia. I have the resources from people that I've met along the way that can help me get to that point. So just really just my family has helped me, stay grounded. My teammates, coaches, they've helped me stay grounded. And just I probably my parents, like, making sure, they raised me to be this person that I am. They raised me to be, you know, yeah, like I've done so much, but like that's not it. Like I have a bigger purpose. And my baseball coach, he always said this. He's like, I never want you to, I never want 13 to be the peak of your life.
Mm.
And once he said that, I was like, all right, like I need to keep
Man,
going. Like I can't
that's
stop
tough.
now. Like that's like it's tough. It's tough to hear. Like it was tough to hear. He was like, I don't want you to be, someone on the corner, trying to holding a magazine up. He's like, hey, this is me. Like I need some help. Like he's like, I don't want you to be like that. Like I'm gonna help you in as many ways as I can. And he's done that ever since he said that, since I was first met him. And so that's been like the motivation. Like, all right, this isn't the peak of my life. Like I still have so much more to go. So it's like, all right, keep working towards it. Don't stop. Like I'm not going to be satisfied until I'm able to, buy a house somewhere, just relax and kicking my feet up and not have to worry about anything, make sure my family's straight. So it's all
Mhm.
about just thinking about, the next step and think about that goal that I set when I was younger and how can I get to that goal and how can I go above and beyond that goal. So right now the goal is to basically just once I finish school is to all right, what's the next steps to bring in a team to Philly. So
Yeah,
that's where I'm at right now.
for sure. Well, that's what's up. I like that. Cool. Like, don't be like, don't stay, at your highest moment at really like 13. Like, there's so much more to do. That's what's
Mm-hmm.
up. But Monet, I really appreciate you for hopping on Real Talk. And I know this episode is gonna be great. We talked about HBCUs and sports and sports management, Columbia, New York, all of that. So it's gonna be a great episode and appreciate all y'all for watching. Sure to subscribe, like, comment, share this with a friend. And then also, show Monet some love, man. Follow, her on Twitch, moneyback_Mo. That's 2 Y's. And any last words you have to say before we hop off?
I appreciate you doing this. We'll definitely have to get you back on the stream again because I know Alex has
Let's
some
do it.
words for some Eagle fans. So we'll have to get you
Let's
back
do
on the
it.
stream, especially when football season, kind of dies out a little bit. Everything's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more calmer. Mental health is back in the the right state of mind. But
Yeah.
now for sure, I appreciate you doing this. I can't wait to see you go up. I'll see you at the top.
Yeah. Well,
We
we
got a
definitely
long way
got
to
a link
go.
in New York too.
For
I'm
sure, for sure.
Are you in? Oh, we'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about
Yeah,
that for sure.
yeah.
For sure. Well, all right, y'all. It's Real Talk with Miles Johnson featuring Monet Davis for a special episode. Love y'all. Y'all know we always keep it real. Peace.